Hi all, welcome back to Whips with C++ session 48. In today's session, we will discuss about the about how to make a member functions of a class to print to another class. Okay. Now here the use case is I want to access private members or non-public members of one class in a member functions of another class. Okay. In previous section, we have already discussed how to use non-public member functions of one class in the global functions. Okay. So we have made there a global function friend to another class, and then we have started using the non-public member functions of that class. In the same way, we can make a member functions of a class friend to another class also. Okay. So by making member functions of a class friend to another class will have direct access to the non-public members of the class. Then what is the syntax we have to follow for that? There is a little bit of trick in this syntax. So what you have to do is say here my requirement is I have a class 1, I have a class 1 and I have class 2. So class 1 private members I want to access in class 2 member functions. So this what I'm saying, class 1 private members I want to access in class 2 member functions. Okay, so during that time what you have to do is you have to give the class 2 declaration first. Okay, so that is class 2 return type print function. So this function, in this function I am going to access class 1 private members. So that is the reason this class declaration has to be present before to class 1. Since this function, this print function is going to take class 1 as a reference, I have to give forward declaration of this class 1 before to class 2. Okay. So once this forward declaration and class 2 is done, then only you can give the class 1 declaration. Reverse is not possible. Say for example, once you give class 1 declaration, then class 2, then it is not possible. I will show you why it is not possible. Okay. So now you have to give class 2 declaration first, then class 2 declaration. After that only you can give the definition for this print function. Okay, so here I have given the prototype declaration, and here also prototype declaration I have given with friend keyword, so that when a compiler will understand. So this function, this friend function is of type class 2, which is present in class 2 is trying to access public member functions or non-public members of my class, so I have to allow it. Okay, so now let's observe a small program for this. Yeah. So let's observe. I have one this one class one here. So in class one, what I'm doing is I have one private member int val, and class two I have, in class two I have two functions, or two member functions. So that is, one is setter and another one is getter. So I'm just following the normal way, like so class 2 definition I have given here, class 2 setter definition I have given. So it is taking class 1 object, and here I am assigning the value 100, and class 2 is returning this object dot value. So this val is a private member. You can see here I have created class 1 object 1, class 2 object 2, and by using object 2 I am setting the values of obj1, and by using object 2 I am getting the value of object 1. Okay, so for setting the value and getting the value I am using object 2, means another class object. Sorry. Okay, now let's compile this program and see whether it is working or not. See, so class 1 scope value is a private within this context, so you cannot access this. So that is against the rule. So then how to make it work? So as I said, give the friend declaration. Now what I will do is I will take these two functions, setters and getters, okay, and I will give the prototype declaration here. Friend, okay, add friend. So you are saying to the compiler that you have to give the friend declaration of these two functions, whichever is trying to access your private members. Okay. So now this is of type class. Okay. Class. Okay. Now let us see whether it will work or not, or any problem is there with this. Still error. What is that error now? So we can see class 2 has not been declared. I don't know what is class 2. Okay. So what you can do is you can open it once again. So I can provide the forward declaration here. Class 2. I am saying class 2 is of type class. So I will give this declaration of this function later. Let's see whether still it will work or not. It is not working. Why it is not working? It is saying invalid use of incomplete type class 2 where in line number 8. Same error. So that is the main error. That is line number 8. We go here. We are saying so class 2 setup. Why it is saying it is incomplete type? It is a prototype declaration. Class 2 is the prototype declaration. Still now I have not declared what exactly the class 2 consists of. I did not told class 2 consists of a setter function and getter function. How you will predict that class 2 is having this setter and getter, right? For compiler, class 2 is an incomplete type. So for incomplete class, how you can access that? We don't know, we cannot predict, right? So I am going to give a class 2 which is having a setter function which will take this argument, and class 2 which will take this argument. So that is not allowed. It is a class 2 is incomplete type. You cannot guess and give the methods or members names like this. So then what is the procedure? So that is the reason we have to modify the syntax. How to modify? What I told is, in whichever member functions you are trying to access private members of the class, that particular class declaration has to be present first. Means class 2 declaration has to be present first. Yeah. Okay. So what I'm doing is I have to give the class 2 declaration here. Okay. So now class 2 declaration is there. Let's see still it will work or not. Now I am getting another error. What is this? Other error. Class 1 has not been declared. Why it is saying class 1 is not declared? If you see here, I am using my setter function is using class 1 object as an argument. But your compiler don't know what exactly is the class 1. So what I have to do? I have to give the forward declaration of class 1 here. So now it is perfect syntax. So class 1, okay, is the forward declaration of forward declaration, or you can say it is a prototype declaration also. You are saying to the compiler that class 1 is of type class. Okay, I am going to give the definition of this class 1 later. So now after that you have to give class 2 definition, and after that this one, class 1. Now what I will do is one more thing. Say this setter function is there, right? What I will do is I will give the definition of this setter here. Okay. As soon as the class 2 definition is completed and before class 1, I am giving the definition for this setter function. Now let's see whether it will work or not. Invalid use of incomplete type class 1 object dot value 100 where it is there is the error is coming from line number 50. So this one is error. Why it is error? I have told class 1 is of type class, but I have not given the declaration. I cannot predict class 1 will be having the member called val or class 1 will be having the member called x, y, z, right? So I cannot purely guess it. So you have to give the definition of this function after the class 2 definition only. Okay, sorry, class 1 definition only. Now let's remove it from here and keep it after class 1. Okay, so the order is compulsory. If you are changing the order, you will get a lot of compile time. Now let's compile this and see. Perfect. Here it is working fine. So now my setter and getter it is working fine. Okay. So just observe the program how we have given the syntax. Okay. First, class 2 declaration you have to give from which you have to give the class declaration of the class where the member functions will be friend to some other class. That class declaration you have to give first. And if your friend functions are taking another class object as a reference, then that class prototype declaration also you have to give here in the forward declaration. So after class 2 declaration, then you have to give class 1 declaration whose private members your class 2 member functions are going to access, and you have to give the friend declaration of those two functions also in class 1. And after this only these friend functions definitions has to be present. This is the way you have to follow the syntax. Okay. Now, so see here, first class 2 declaration, class 1 forward declaration, class 2 return type and that function name, class 1 reference object, and class 1 here you have to give the friend declaration of that. After this class 1 only you have to give the definition for class 2. Okay. So what are the small points to be remembered for this? While making a member function of a class friend to another class, make sure the forward declaration of the class 1. What is class 1? Whose non-public member functions are going to be accessed. That is class 1 obj value we are going to access in class 2, right? So that class forward declaration has to be present before the class 2. Before giving class 2 declaration or definition, you have to give class 1 forward declaration. So what is class 2? Class 2 is the one whose member functions is trying to access the non-public member functions of the class 1. Okay. Now, definition of the friend function has to be present after the class 1 declaration only. So why you have to give it after the class 1? Because if you give before class 1, then it will be treated as empty class. Class 1 will be treated as empty class. So then you cannot blindly guess the class 1 will be having this data members. So you have to change the order. So here order is must here because in C++ compilation will start from beginning of the line. Okay. So the order of the classes has to be strictly followed as shown in the syntax. This order has to be followed properly. Okay. If you are getting the errors means like you are not following the order properly. Okay. So that's about those are the points you have to remember. This is about how to make member functions of one class ready to another class. Okay, right. So that's for today. Thanks for watching.